biggest
Hurt me?
process.
Yeah.
Put me
I'm
down,
tired.
Butcher it
pick me
yourself.
up, sit up.
Exactly.
Yeah, you start to pick up on
I
it.
think you go vegetarian.
Oh, yeah, enjoy it, just fast.
Yeah.
If you turn around, I'm talking back to you.
I knew about nightshades. Nightshades, so potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, they're all nightshades.
How are you, bud? Oh, it's stretch me.
I would just see them all the time. That's what he was describing. Yeah, he's only said. Yeah. Yeah.
And I also drink that whole thing of coffee.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Was I forget my book.
What's up, Robin?
Okay. I don't know where it's.
Is it in the pot?
No, it says,
No.
it says within the skull cups in the remaining right hand there are a blue horse, a brownish donkey, a red ox, a gray camel, a red human, a blue shraba, and a cat with a white mark on the forehead. I knew I read cat somewhere.
Yep.
It's a mistake, it's a misprint.
A sharaba,
You're probably
What
hoping.
is a shrine?
a sharaba is a cat with 8 legs.
Oh.
Really?
So we
Is
have
that like a
actually,
unicorn of
actually
cats?
2 cats.
Like a cat?
You know, and the cat with the white mark on its forehead is probably
It's part of what?
probably a leopard or, something like that.
It's not your cat.
It's not a cow.
It's not a tabby?
Probably.
Eric is right, it's probably not your page 18 cat. And you read it
That translation.
Well, sometimes the
with the
five
white mark. With
The
that.
five meats. I feel like I've seen tiger in some versions.
Yeah, tiger, not cat.
So the opening prayers.
Okay, so opening prayers on page 5 of the prayer book. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
So one time the 7 prayers in Tibet.
In Tibetan, so on page 14, because we did the 7-line prayer in the morning, remember? And then he said we would do the Tibetan for it in the evening.
Devara Yegwa Tamje Dage Do Medo Tamba Chingwa Tamba Tang Sinye Nanda Jube Donjo Tang Marame Choda Dubo Tamba Ye Jarwa Teda Lane Jubara Je Naza Tamba Namda Chencho Tang Anchema Purme Ra Nyamba Tang Goba Chebara Pabe Chogenje Jarwa Teda Layan Chobara Je Choba Kana Lame Jajewa Ante Dai Jarwa Tamje Layan Mo Sambo Chola Tebe Tobdai Ke Gunlai Changze Chobara Je Doja Shedan Demo Wangene Le Dan La Dan Di Yin Yi Je Jiang De Gua Da Ge Ji Ba Jin Je Ba Ante Da Tam Je Da Ge So So Re Ya Chu Je Jar Wa Gun Dan San Je Se Ran Jar Nam Dan Lo Dan Me Lo Dan Do Wa Gun Je Song Dan Gang La Yang De Da Gun Je Je Se Da Ye Ran Kan Na Chu Ju Je Dan Do Ma Na San Je Ma Ja Ni Gong Bo Te Da Da Ge Tam Je La Ko La La Na Me Ba Ko Wa Gu Nya Nge Da Dong Kan Ye Te Da La An Zhou Wa Gu La Pin Kin De Wei Che Ge Wa Xian Ge Du Ni Xiu Ba Yang Da Ge Ti Mo Ra Jia Su Wa Ji Chang Zi Wa Dan Chu Jin Ya Ba Dan An Ji Si Ye Rang Gun Xin Su Wa Ye Ge Wa Jun Zi Da Ge Jie Za Ba Tam Tam Ji Zong Bi Jiang Jiu Jin Bu
And then page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Semjen Namje Samba Dong Loye Jeda Jeda War Che Join Tu Mo Tu Ba Ye Chu Je Kor Do Kor Do So Tam Ge Do Je Ja Je Re Son Dong Shen Je Me Do Du Je Bong Jong Bo Ser Je Lung Bo Do La Ji We Ge Xia Je Je Ge Xia Bo Gu Jiang Ze Te Me Wo Zer To Je Jing Gu De Ma De Xie Je Ngo Je Da Wa Tam Je Se Ba Gun Qian Ju Jin Je Nian Min De Gong Zhen Qian Gu Jiang Ze Wu Mi Ju Je Yin Je Bo Zhang De De Zu Song Je Gun Je Ngo Rang Sam Chu Ge Ngo Song Dong Ze Be Za We La Me Ya La Gu Jiang Ze Gang Da Chou Je Dong Jian Je De Na De Je Long Ma La Ju Wa Gang So Da Teng De Dong Bi Chu Jian Jia Ren Sembrando wa dam jin de re ye she no mo ria la ye ge dang le dang de ji ge zhong da da me ge nam ne zhuo ge jie de ge jie zang ba tam ji ge de da ge zhu den do. Good evening. 다 댕긴 것 같으니마 가을래다 하고 말씀.
De Torma, de Dampo, de Jujin, Sham Jujin Tor, Dam, 이람기
롱들다 가서 데려와
롱들.
징토르탕 돌마 요레 스와
말로
다 말록 주데 남지 냠바 체터 차비탄데 갑토 말로 잔데 인디난다 체타스 티자야면도 말록 주데 남 조야보니야 말록 주데 남지 냠바 체터 차비케 이 rinchen chuzengli se jayung tang paryu ke chaklen dorma ju kaze sanggo tang lakpar to lami je kapsu hiru ga yamyam tang cho tang pawu ke regla xia tang chang tang nya xia su gu song la so ba na so ba le chawar yi ba zam le dormi ke yeb kase mi jang da ta long de 감상스 대하겠어.
So in the text, it says, so Kontrol Yonten Gyatso explains in the Ship of Jewels, writings on the way to the approach in the Tantras of the Marpa tradition. In Tantric scriptures and Indian practices, the torma ingredients are 9 excellent types of food. Moreover, in highest yoga tantras, for the Heruka in union and the various families of wrathful deities and dakinis, it is said that tormas are made of various ingredients, such as meat, blood, beer, fish, garlic, onion, turnip, and so on.
오다 디인도 제당 다디 지당 경아도 도르마 때네 로고 데이팅도 틴디라 도르마 틴디 디나 양당 아주 좋은 직전 솜진 공부게 지 도르마이나 티네 지샤 타라 소바당 대가 나기 계직다 창hala 소바틴디 도르마테 땅초고 말이스 다 도르마테 가서 지 가리나 지 깔솜당 알솜세야 제탄 돈메케 줍차티 드네 틴디지로 고 그래 송여로 봐.
So
that also this general talking, so that's specific 틴디지 고래 라고요 말와.
가레고 고기요 말에 배차낭신 or 직전 순간낭신.
No pechina that jitan general no jilagori mandini gogori laguyo marwa.
So in the text, it's saying that this is sort of generally, and probably, from the ancient traditions in India. But Lord Jigten Sungan says that actually also in particular, so as not to upset the local deities, it's important to avoid like having meat, blood, or anything like that, also alcohol in the tormas, that the tormas should only be made with the 3 whites and the 3 sweets.
Tene kamsang ki chagyen nga tsato chaba tang, lama tang, yedam tang, kanjo tang, sungma so, torma tang, jude namje kin detor iyapso, joba tar, dene, jedor, ya jedor, maya soke, jubike yedam ji tormatan sandu sanga henche ke tormatan dami ma yihe jin kando mi ke tormatan he so legbar konte jedo maya tawu chanyong la khornam je zo chi jin chungwa nam je tormi ke chang cha heng sandu tawu je mana tipchu la tang tang je ba kya den je ten ke torma ngondo tang ji ke zamdo kator zine kanjo jitor ngondo guba motor susum zeba tang tusor mala zindor china tentor tonkar migubar letor kadam katamji chojing butor la tunme yepchen chungwa was.
So then it goes on to say, apart from this, the shape of the torma is not clarified. And so, as in the Kamsang tradition, There are 5 types of tormas that are well known. The way to do the shape for other worldly tormas of all tantras is similar. Here, too, for mother tantras such as Hevajra, Mahamaya, and so on, there is a Yidam torma. For Guhya Samaja and Nama Samgiti, a Lama torma. For wisdom dakinis such as Nairatmya and Jana dakini, a dakini torma. Regarding their size and level of detail, when there are few deities in the retinue, like in Hevajra or Mahamaya, there is a torma for each member of the retinue, each half the size of that of the main deity. If there are many deities in the retinue, such as in Guhya Samaja, for instance, one makes as many small triangle tormas as the number of deities. For worldly tormas, it as well as preliminary tormas, one in general makes a white torma.
Keep going.
Yeah. If there are guest torma, if there are guest tormas for dakinis in the preliminary phase, one makes a triangular red torma. For the dakinis in the preliminary phase, a red torma or martor. For dusolma, if one makes a seize torma, a support torma with the skull cup as mansion is not necessary. I think.
Okay, so then chumbu ke dutsi riwe tang, dodi tang, changdi tang, meto tang, po la soba, che la he chungi, zinto rang, marto kone, zungba hi, lama yedang kanru torma, yep ranglok chaksor dara chi bala, taklong ka juji yedam kondo tar kando jurban zingbi, mande ba sewar, jentun joro. There ranglok dencho tabula, kor ladang deche, gu chi ba da dang, che durji lagula, kor deche, ji dane, kondo ombo dang, hen yang kong ke kamsang ke chak ye da, ranglok hi sosor,
So support torma with the skull cup as mansion is not necessary. A simple katangma activity torma is enough. The size of the activity torma is smaller than that of the offering torma. On occasions when one makes a Gana chakra, one places in front of oneself the offerings together with the inner offerings and the nectar pills, and one makes offerings also with the Vajra and bell, damaru, flowers, incense, and so on. As was said above, one does the seize torma or mother torma in the same shape as the Lama, Yidam, and Dakini torma of one's own specific traditional system. In the Taglung Kagyu lineage, one changes the color according to the body color of the Yidam, and there are also specifically clarified ornaments.
This looks like a bit confusing, right? So these too many things. So this more clarification. So in the tormati, Jikpachikchang, and then Denchok Tormanagiris, Nomboris, in Tangasundeli Young at Sama, the Tachogrua. The only different color is blue, otherwise exactly same.
So for Hevajra, actually the main torma is exactly the same as the Chakra Samvara torma. It's just blue. That's the only difference.
So you can look. So this here like this and that, so it looks like a bit confusing, but we actually really need it. That's torma. Tening as that he now to sorma torma say your that this little midong torma la familiar here yomarwa. Tell up Martorji or is Martor Susonji.
And then
to Suchona, Yatorma Tendoji, so the Ancho Grace.
But one thing that is a little bit difficult or kind of unusual is the Dusoma torma, which is a red torma with 3 points, like a triangular torma. So in the future, if there's time, maybe he'll make one of those so that we can have as an example.
Otherwise, not big deal. Okay, we are seeing. Tene malung dojar ke mende tang choba tang torma nam yamde nyewar jende ten dewa la dorji jimu tong to chu te thangbo indi ngaje ke indi ngaje torma tang la hen jungwan de la simjenji je ke so sungcher dorje je simbi ke torma tang he zungba hinje ke torma chenje la ba ne gi thor dunde ye je kin jung samse kangsum je teng to torma sha la nende chuzang ma ten la on amada armada gundala hana no hong tes.
Okay. There's a gaga inside it, but that's okay. So then, in front of oneself are the inner offerings mixed with nectar pills. One does an offering accumulation with Hevajra, bell, damaru, flower, incense, etc. And in order to reverse attachment to the body, one meditates on the generation process. In order to reverse attachment to speech, one engages in the mantra recitation. And in order to reverse attachment to mind, one meditates on the perfection process. Here I will explain the generation process in the 6 limbs according to the intention of Vajrapanjara. First, with regards to the meaning, First, with regards to the meaning of the phrase Hung Shri Hevadraye, Hung is Hevadra's seed syllable. Shri means glorious, endowed with glory. He, like K, is an address, like hey, remember when His Holiness said that? Who is addressed? This is Vajraye, and that is to say that one addresses the Vajra, the embodiment of emptiness. The meaning of this is expressed in the Hevajra Tantra. The syllable He expresses great compassion, and Vajra, insight. Listen, I shall teach. This Tantra composed of means and insight. Thus, one visualizes the body of Hevajra, which is the indivisibility of appearances and emptiness, and then from in one's heart center on a sun disk. But then that Om Amrita Kundale Hana Hana Hungpe O Larawa.
Okay. Om med armada gunal do.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you can say start om med armada gunal hana.
but digi mun nagare la giro ti akko kare hanabe.
Tell mom.
So they go tom usarwa te chikchina kaka.
That om med armada gunal hana, you can see that.
Yeah, so then beginning with the cleansing of the nectar, so the blessing of the nectar of the inner offering, we have first the Amrita mantra, Om Vajra Amrita Kundale Hana Hana Hungpe.
There's nectar.
Tene marpe do jarle.
Chini?
There mandal dang chupa dang torma.
Yeah, that's one. That's I think
Okay.
they come or Trimaloda.
Okay. At this point, by having arranged the mandala, the offerings, and the tormas, the site is ornamented. Then, as it is said, one sits in the Vajra posture on a comfortable seat, and one first offers a torma with the Inda mantra. One sprinkles clean water on the inner offering, the nectar in the kapala, and cleanses it with Om Vajra Amrita Kundale Hana Hana Hungpe.
Okay, that is the tomato. In that came in the
True, you mare chikchina chirang yang skip cheba ina yang na dilla che ina dilla
skip
kaka
chiyo
che.
manda.
Okay.
in that dormaji yores, ngato da me chonta tia be me. Ngato dorma nguru dormaji chigidwa. Nguru dorma tela dormaji so ne dati kechi moyor. Karsina ngato tan donde iye chodri tan dik right side de magi latini chik the Thai part no je gona tini dorma thya go gres.
Torma ngundro torma. Ngundro torma.
Katoro.
So then with the ngundro torma, or the beginning, the preliminary torma, so you want on the right side of the main torma, right? Right side.
No, not right. I mean, I said this side, like line, this under the next the table. They put the like Thai part. So
Oh, okay. So on to your right side on the table,
no
there's-
table.
Chirang injike la table lap song.
No, this the line.
Tripod.
This
Oh.
side. We can end of the roll, right? The seat sitting in the roll. So next, the table, yeah, there. So there's the
Oh, okay, away from you.
right.
Okay. Then there's a little table with a tripod, and on top of that is the preliminary torma.
All right. So the Torma first facing to Vajra Master, and then we here said Om and the Armada Gundale Hana Hana Hompe. So then this we call the Sham Master put the Dutsi, right, nectar, and then Torma facing to the door. So ta Torma Kachi and the joke Tina is a mother Om and Armada Gundale Hana Hana Hompe.
Then,
항상 저도 그 배째 대파가 인사를 하는 거.
chichina. Dini dijela om swabawa. Dini she swabawe nga gi chudze nam rangshingi drupar tungpa ni dujar. Di marebe. Okay, so or maybe.
오다다다 야다다 요리. 야. 되네 오마 소바 와효다 서바들 마 소바 와효다 하나서 또
Chi shorangabe kare.
쇼던 텐. 되네 지네 이하 공마다 좀 자바니. 되네 또 소선 차르비 탐지 기도마 친지 라블라서. 소마 소바 와효다 서바들 소바 테네 칼라스.
She swabawe nga gi chudze nam rangshingi madrupar tongpa ni dujang. Dini tongpe ngangle yamle lung ramle me dini di yang di drupta virwala. Dini tongpe ngangle yamle lungi kyokor.
인들레티 요마로 디멘도 타키멘도
Okay, so then gare do. Dini chi nga dur dupa la di gade
okay just
yamba.
look the page 10
Okay.
so tene agar mo kom sarva dharma len zom one torma dutsi ta torma dutsi tene tene jene tene agar mo kom sarva dharma o so bo hido sarva dharma so bo hido ha sen ta chono te yi to go seta
Okay.
tene agar mo kom sarva dharma adeni wena do da home peace thingma som lab garwa tene thingma som lab ne tene ta torma te tene ta tere ma torma kha chili yu yarwa chili yu yares
So then, when you offer the torma, then you recite the mantra Om Akaro Mukam Sarva Dharma
3 times
3 times, etc., 3 times, and then offer the torma outside.
so maybe you look after that they actually they put I think dutsi china pu chung yo sarwa dutsi china yo sarwa after the dutsi china they kada
Tisa ringwa che yirwa Om Inda Zama Zala Aka.
o te go mari te te rang undu dur marawa after that
Here, why don't you look?
yeah ha go marawa
De buye yirwa.
avec console de tu do
So in the text that he was reading from, so there's differences in the two texts that we have, one that was translated, but it looks like there are a lot of changes that have been made since then, which are in the book. So where he was reading from with the Omakaro mantra, which is recited 3 times, and then the torma is offered outside. And the torma becomes becomes endowed with the 5 desirable qualities, and it becomes the nature of the nectar that is undefiled, becoming like a vast ocean of undefiled nectar. And all of the like spirits are who partake of it become satisfied, or satisfied by partaking of it. And all of their harmful intentions are pacified. and they become endowed with the wish to benefit others and give rise to the mind of bodhicitta, and then return to their own abode after having partaken of the torma once it's offered. So sumbani nga ji digi ko. So then it says then when done according to the Hevajra Marga Hevajra tradition, then after having offered the torma, then the Sumbani mantra is recited 4 times.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's totally different, right? This
is very good. Okay, so now is okay, we can do this one first, then Jamrasanchi. Yeah. We can. So with this morning, so actually one here, Korezam, or what is the Korekam, Zorezam, so this.
this was in, so when we did the Nairatmaya practice this morning,
Right.
And there were the mantras for with each of the dakinis and the mudras that he demonstrated.
And also this, which deity, what it looks like, what they're doing. So that's actually in the text here, but I don't have there. So maybe we can later on, so I can look tonight, and then tomorrow maybe they're in English translation or not. So, so but now we're going to the Jamdo, I think here. You see the Jamdo, right? You already moved? I give to there.
No, Chamdo.
Tene ta te eche gong yin dingba tang tene kole koncho zomla jab sanje digba mege sosori andobe gela je rang sanje janjo yin je sanje jodong song chanjo
Kakare.
jab sanje he ni ji so jin jo ba chap ko ya li chi jang mi ji ba da tham ja chi ba tang so so ya ba wo sa ando wala ji si ye rang wa tang ti ka de
Kakadu.
Okay, we can, I think, okay. Maybe we're working on again. Okay, so we can look you there, the Zorema, so
Which one? Where?
page 12. Then you here, Zorema tela kandiji yorsena,
Kapar.
page 12.
I'm looking at 12, but where?
다 고래 마음 세야 돼. 저랑 다 배쳤다고 말이 성도. 다긴 배.
Okay.
안 배쳤다 돼.
Okay, then chi sum da gorema.
고래마 고래마 감 아홍 세 고래마 딜라텔라 카리서나 간모르다 세만지 해서 되네 단도 카르보레스. 이게 고래마 간모르다 세만지 스카르봄 고래마 나모 되다 세만지 모주데 맹라 되다 탐지 맹케데 두치 찬셈 카르모 이나다 두츠티 찬셈 카르보 토댕이 지요레스.
So first with Gorima, so Gorima, Gori kam, Gori kam ahung soha. So Gorima is white and holding, or she's the is she holding a wild animal? Yeah, or a deer. Redaksima. Page 14 in the text, yeah. Let's see.
All right, that's maybe better.
Then it's the black hair woman, she's white, but she's.
Mm-hmm.
Black, and its name is white, but it's, yeah.
The black fair woman, although here it doesn't say that she's with a deer, right, or an antelope, holding an or the moon, maybe. Redak zima zima? Zima zin? What's that? She's holding a moon? In which one? Where does that?
I think it is deer. Some translations say deer, but I think just one shows us it means the moon.
It means the moon. Wait, where did you say that that is? Oh, 13, okay. Yeah. Oh, Gauri, yeah, holds the moon, and she is white in color, she's fair, and then Chaurima, is that the Gauri Namo?
So, yeah. So then they're talking about here the Muda. So Om Kore Ma Kama Om Ahum Soha. So this we did that this morning. Om Kore Kama Ahum. So the holiness here saying how to Mudas. So, but this explanation is long, but easily show this. Korema Oma Ahum Sohas. The next one, Zorema Chumku Duli Jarveyum, Heso, Lamo Chumku Ma, Zorema Marmos, Dumbe, Duli, Number Jarvi, Muju Mende, Yime Mende, Rata Kanwe, Tobanzine, Chobatis, he's holding the, I think, Rata. The nectar toba chi base, so that is la yepi kutor, that's all. So then this Muda is Om Benza Zore Ma Ahum Soha.
Here it says she's holding a vessel with the sun.
The sun is
Means rakta. Okay. So that's the meaning of that is blood, rakta, or blood. Is that what? Yeah. What?
We just talked.
Don't talk, okay.
Just reversed for these first two.
Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah, I think maybe this is difficult to. Maybe here it's okay, nobody block, right? Okay. Okay, so this what you hold is the what is the rakta, right? So the Om Benza Kore. Okay, we start Om Benza Kore Kama Ahum Soha. Om Zore Zam Ahum Sohas. So now it's next Bedali Roland Mas.
So the zombie, Betali, who offers a skull cup full of urine, water, which I guess is the word, means urine.
Kabbalah in the urine. Okay. So that's why is I think Om Bedale Ahum Soha, I think right? Om Bedale Ahum Soha. So the next one is Ngimari. So Ngimari, it means Jing, Samo Ngimari K, Ngimari junkies are this green color. The cigarette medicine holding.
Secret medicine, which
And
is
also
feces.
Chichen.
Yeah, and feces. So both? Or is it that one represents the other?
All right.
She's offering medicine.
medicine,
medicine, and also teaching.
and also feces.
Okay. So then this Om Benzan Gemari.
That was what green gas gemari.
Right. Gemari Ahon Soha.
It's a little tough.
That's
Middle
okay.
finger,
Higher, right?
and the four surrounding it.
Om Gemari Ahon Soha. So then next one, Pugasi, Pam Ahon Soha, Pugasi, Dodye, Lamo Pugasi.
So Vajra Dakini
Oh, the
Pukasi,
blue, right? Blue color.
who's blue,
And the Hachan Kang with Toba.
holding a skull cup full of great meat or big meat. Is here it says various meats, but sha chin is.
So the Hachan is actually, the Hachan is this we call human, elephant.
Human elephant, the bigger meats.
The
Okay.
cow, those called we call great meat or something. And then big chunk of the bones too. So Hachan je Kang with Toban Zimba, Chubachi is. So Om Benza Pugasi, so Pugas. I think this somebody said they just
Yeah, it's like
chewing the bone. Oh, Pugasi Ahon Soha. And then there's Hevajra Ham Ahon Soha. Taking retreatment, Ronzi, taking to Nelhamo retreatment. Hevajra Garmon Chan Juji Kama Toba Toban Zimbas.
So she is the wilderness recluse or the hermitess who is white, Shavari, offering a skull cup full of alcohol.
Om Hevajra Ham Ahon Soha. This basically we call Nivedi, right?
The same as the food offering.
Yeah, so what is it? Hevajra Ham Ahon Soha. Then Ti Hugla Tatri Zendale Lam Ahon Soha Durba Mone Changdi Dong Hezumbi Hamo Durmo Zendale ne Osans, this is the blue color. Then Changdi Tang Jagarake Logi Damar Zinde Torvi Sudan Yonta Zort Tive Zimbaos.
So she's holding a
Damaru.
like a Indian style damaru, and
So this bell is the lock holding here. So Om Zendale the Om Zendale Lam Ahon Soha. Om Zendale.
and in her right, in her left, she's holding a bell.
Right.
It's- and sounding the bell.
How many times do you do that?
100 times. No, that's like this. Okay. So we just slowly, but this is later on we can this keep going, so we can do again. So like all here, all right. Om Hevajra Ham Ahon Soha Zendale Zam Ahon Soha Dombene Dhamma Ahon Soha. So this is a little bit faster, but a little bit few. So next one is Dombene Dhamma Ahon Soha Docha Chimbo Jechabi Yumu Gulan Chubani Hezungbin Dombene Towan Docha Chimbo Samiji Dewa Chimbo Nyongwa Chibi Nyumjo Ki Chubi Chobi Zongpor Tamji Tonye Bachibos.
So then next is Dumbini, who is passionate with great desire and is of the untouchable caste. who is in union, right? She offers union, offering union with great desire, great desire which becomes the undefiled great bliss.
So this is so Dombuni Ram Hong so so that's it. So how many we have? 6, right? 6.
So pleasing the main deity together with the retinue.
So then we can do horse one more time. Also we can do Damima there too. So. Om Danzang Gemare Gama Hong. Oh, sorry. Om Benza Kore Kan Ahong Soha. Om Zore Zam Ahong Soha. Om Bedale Ahong Soha. Om Gemari Ahong Soha. Om Pagase Ahong Soha. Om Hevajra Ham Ahong Soha. Om Zendale Zam Ahong Soha. Om Dombuni Dam Ahong Soha. 다 디질 다 점도리 너 점도리 스만다요 사라.
Tesamidrawa Yusare Kontrasum.
That's okay. That's control.
I think it's the same as the Nairatmya, actually, text that Eric translated. Irawa? Concho Sumna.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
So
actually, this is like a commentary.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, the commentary, that the fire, but I think what the house.
Is it not in the Hevajra though, this version? I guess not. It's not, okay.
No, that's okay.
So it is, no, so the refuge here is the same as in the Nairatmya sadhana that we did this morning. We go for refuge unto the 3 jewels. We confess our each and every misdeed. We rejoice in the virtues of wanderers. In our minds we embrace Buddha's awakening. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha Supreme, we take refuge till enlightenment is reached. We shall cultivate the mind of awakening so the goals of ourselves and others are achieved. Generating the mind of Bodhicitta Supreme, Imaho, as our guests, we shall care for all beings. We shall act with supreme Bodhisattva conduct. May we become Buddhas to help all beings.
Okay. So this is like a commentary, so we have time tomorrow, but we're not going to keep going.
Oh, it does. It's not exactly the
No,
same.
this
It
is
doesn't have.
commentary.
It doesn't have the Imaho. Oh yeah. Okay.
The commentary, this everything here controls on the so check if I make it so yeah. To we get some Yoruba. You know the commentary. Okay, I think. So do you have some questions?
In the beginning of the middle length sadhana, when you initially instantaneously arise as Hevajra, how
It does happen.
I think it says that you arise in the 2-armed form of Hevajra. What are the implements of that 2-armed Hevajra in that context?
It's in. Sorry. In this. And which one?
Yes. At the beginning, I think right before the.
When you instantaneously arise in the form of Hevajra. Then the K J Dorje la Chegiurawa Dangpo. Then the Katla Yang Lak Chaksin Gare Yore. Chatla Gare Zingure Chaksin.
So this how many in the hand?
2.
Yeah, it says 1 face, 2 arms, page 8. Yeah, right before the blessing, the nectar. So is that Yab only or Yab Yum or the.
Only I think this the yap, right?
And are implements like Vajra and Bell, or just the first two Kapalas that are in the extensive?
He holds a Vajra, I'm not quite sure what he has in his left hand, but it's not, I don't think it's a bell. It's a Kabbalah.
Yeah, that's I'm not sure.
I
Okay,
have a photograph. but,
Okay.
okay.
I have it over here.
But also we have this with one, the without consort, so I think.
Mhm.
But this is kind of similar hand implements, I think. But
Okay, thank you.
that we can look carefully again.
So chizo chik da dung yorowa.
Ah,
Chizo chik da dung yorowa.
which is your
Yore.
what's
Nachu chizo gupa. We're going till 9, right?
Oh, I thought this finished.
Can I ask one more question then?
Okay.
So when they're blessing the nectar, and we have the Om Ahung, and we have, Om Ahung, and then the upside down Hung, right? Are those stacked with Om at the top and Hung at the bottom, or is it reversed?
Right. So you have afternoon here, no? No.
What?
Oh, you weren't here during the afternoon.
Right.
Were you? No.
Oh, I was online.
You were online.
I
Okay.
was online, but in
So
the
this,
text,
actually they said, okay, this Om, right? Om, I think, and the outside is Om, there's this life force is Ah, and then Home with the cursive mu and what is Vajra?
yeah.
So what is your question?
So the text makes it kind of sound like it's inverted, like the hung is on top. So my question is, if Kapala is here, is it Om, Ah, upside down hung, or is it like with the hung on top in some way? Because the way it reads sounds like
Right.
the
okay.
hung above,
Oh, right.
or something
Middle
like
link
that.
text, that's what it
Right.
looks like?
Yes. I think this the home and the cursive mu is the bottom. Because like I said, this Jaga Samvara, right? Like Kadamka,
Yeah.
maybe hold like that, but then it's the Kadamka upside down to put in the nectar transforms to the wisdom nectar.
That makes the most sense to
So
me.
this
Okay,
one
that's
is
great.
the
Yeah.
home and the cursive mu is bottom. So
Okay.
Om Ah is, but then later on, the Om Ah Hon, again, the light radiate and maybe dissolves into the nectar, so more kind of become wisdom nectar. Right?
So all of the Om, Ahom are all upside down.
That's
Just the hung?
question too. They said here that this Om is outside, right? But look like Om, okay, Kabbalah like this, right? So can be look like handle Om, Ah, Hong, like together. Or like Om, the above the Kabbalah here, Om here, here, and then this cursive mu and the Vajra and Hong here, and then first like the cursive mu and Vajra and the kind of upside down into the nectar and the dissolves. So still like Hong, but no Om and Ah is remaining. The above the Kabbalah, right?
And
then
they're right side
then
up.
the radiate light from or dissolves whatever Om and Ah, and then maybe they said that they become another nectar, wisdom nectar. So kind of interesting. So these sometimes they blessing it again and again, so so also we kind of purifying the like sort of like mostly Dharma is okay, you can purifying like what is the coarse obscurations, and again you purifying the subtle obscurations. But the similar, I think, like Om and Ah, le Wu Tu Bi, the Jit Du Jie Hong Dang Jie Ba Le Yi Xie Jie, the Tzu Xu Tini Ja Ni Sumi Ba Chos.
Yeah, it is weird because it does say in the Tibetan too, above,
But
right?
maybe it's like above, as in, that's the last
Yeah.
thing that's above, the Kapala.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a longer, this
Longer version.
Truda Yeshi's long commentary maybe.
Right, so this the grantee, so this the home and the corset moon in the melted, and then is the wisdom nectar. So I think it's still the Om and R radiated light hit this home and corset moon, or so that's they can melt or not. That's I'm not sure.
Did you have something else, President?
No, it's just my really bad memory from 10 years ago, right? Because I kind of remember this is jogging my memory from when Holiness was here before, but I can't quite remember now.
Or maybe I should hang on to
So this actually now is very hard. This no there no.
it. You might, but I think nga lo na chikchina digure nga lo na chikchina digure. I think nga young lot go dig.
Tini da control zone la. I think maybe a little bit. So control zone la jab CS. Di pa me ke so ya se wa. Ti check ti ni bola di pa ya bi ten je ke to control zone des.
So
top here wa. Tini di pa me ke wa tamchi.
let me just get the. Okay, so going back to this, these refuge, or actually it's Marpa's translation of the daily confession. So first we go for refuge unto the three jewels. We confess our each and every misdeed. And so here then the support, so the support, when we think of the four powers, right? There's the power of support. So the power of the support are the three jewels.
Tini di pa me ke wa tamchi lama ta bi choge ke tela ta nga so lama la ten choga ji orwa. Tela ta nyembu top tres.
And then so then all of then the power of the antidote in this case is the lama and the sadhana that we're actually reciting or that we're practicing. Lama dakpe choga sana dirang.
Choga ta top tera ta nyembu top do nyembu top ten ji top sa song ko nyo song ro. Tini nyembu top tela teres.
So it's the power of the antidote is the sadhana of the pure guru.
Tene niji istalik nga tu dekpa megewa kare chiyo narwa. Oda tene tela jikta nga de niji tela nonju chapo zeta den joba chapo ke tene yag yorwa tela mepa lechi ta cher dobe dobs.
And then the strong sense of, based on a strong sense of regret, for the negativities that have been committed, and then the confession together with that is the power of resolve. So together with regret, then you have the power of resolve. Then sunjimbe to gapardo.
Ta tihu gorwa the dobe dobs. Ta dobe dobs tela ta jetanga ta tera ko.
And it reverses the negativity.
Right. So this dekpa chegi me samgrwa. Chegi me sambatela ngasteta dobe top lamnanda terida. Ngaso ngone lamga ga leba na yirwa. Ben ngaso road of chigrwa road of chisona ta norwa lamga norwa. Yina yang ta nge ki mege wa mambo chire ta nge mendo do samne ta yang ko lamga kan ya ta ngango ni lamga nor sundu samgro lamga non thuk do zam tini lamga kan la yo batala ta teres do beto sanagro.
So here, like normally we might say, you know, the power of resolve, but here it's actually like the reversal power, the power that kind of reverses the negativity, meaning that, you know, when we have kind of gone off track because we've strayed into conduct that is mistaken or not the correct conduct or the correct way, it's like we've veered off the road. And so then when we have this strong sense of regret and we're determined to get back on track, and then that becomes the impulse or the force that brings us back onto the road, you know, so that we get back on track, so to speak. And so that is bolstered by a strong sense of resolve, like going forward, I'm not going to repeat this negative conduct or this negativity. Oh no, not repeat, but nga migewa mangdu chigimin chisumba.
Maleta ti ko lamga kan la ya do beto mejiwa trawa.
So it's not yet exactly the last one of the commitment, you know, not to that going or resolve that in the future going forward we're not going to continue the same mistaken activity, but it's the reversal power of swinging us back on track, like or back onto the road. If we've gone off the road and lost our way, we're now veering back onto the road.
And
then like further with the commitment, then now that we've gotten back on track, not to, you know, make the same mistakes going forward, then this is the power of resolve. Yeah. Commitment, resolve, yeah.
So also we tell what I'm so chitanga so dekwaji thagro dekwaji thagbar chibala tene renga so dekwaji ta thagi ores rawa dekwaji nanga so gomjana dekwa thagi ore ngarana dekwa thagi ore yina yang dekwaji sama changchang ji thagona tene ta karsenanga so top he helletene tene top helletena tene ta dekwa changtu gores.
So the way to purify negativities, you know, there are all of our virtuous practices, reciting mantra and so forth, these all function in a way that purifies non-virtue and negativity. But in order for non-virtue and negativity to really be purified, to be thoroughly purified, then our practice has to be endowed with the four powers.
Tene last years Robi gela Jeran, Hibade, Sanje Jetembala, Hobanam, Jesu Yeramatan. T. Nana Jampe, Jedur Jela, Chenye, Gomba, Zombatela, Gewala, Jesu Yeram Yela Nipos.
So then here, when the next line, which is we rejoice in the virtue of wanderers, then this is to, you know, by rejoicing in like all of those who have entered into the path of the Buddha's teachings, and in particular those who practice according to the meditation and recitation of, you know, the practice of Hevajra, this practice of Hevajra.
Yes, Iran say at the Latin, a bit Chambore zone. Yes, Iran zone. Tajatan in a yes, Iran say at the Layan, Coteorwa, sincerely Yungota. In a sincerely you be in a Tinengazo di Gawa de Karsna Kanye Hira Mevala, the Gawa top Chimbo Shui or zone. jumzen ro ji in bina tene meje ki jimba tong yo na kona ko ta mate ya pore sha samban ro ji ro wa ti ke lo pe ning ta ba ni ke bi na tene ko senseri ti jumzen de tene te ge wa to gu yo res.
So then rejoicing is really amazing, actually, because when we really rejoice, when the rejoicing is sincere, it's a very easy way to accumulate tremendous virtue. To really accumulate a lot of merit. So, it's really like it's somebody else who is doing the work and you're rejoicing in the work. And when that rejoice is really genuine, like from the bottom of your heart, it becomes a very vast accumulation of merit. It's very powerful.
There's one story, and I think during the Sangye Buddha time, so the one, I think, kingdom or one king, he invite Buddha and Buddha's the retinues. So then the king offered to, like, we call it like delicious 80 types of food, so all the delicious food to or Buddha and Buddha's retinue. So I think Buddha time, and also we have monasteries, so every day, so the evening or whatever, end of the day, whatever we, today sponsored or, so dedicate, merit. So dedicate is interesting. So, okay, general dedicate, okay, this benefit all sentient beings. But then, always like particular, okay, today, something connection here, they recourse to prayers, or they did offerings, so sometimes we say names. Okay,
and so they'll do the dedications like for particular people.
Right, so this okay, general benefit all sentient beings, particularly the person. So same way, so then the Buddha said, "Oh, tini chorang ngowa chorang chi go gdo yang chorang le sonam che tini yona chi gdo dedicate sole chi gre sanje kitne yerbol hyores."
So the Buddha asked the king, "So to whom shall I make the dedications today, or who should I dedicate on behalf of today? Should the dedications go to you, or is there someone with greater merit than you here that I should make the dedications for today primarily?"
이 드레 산직 오케이. 드레 산직 되니 베디나라 로모 장해지 요레스. 로모 방고.
Wait, didn't the Japo lashu yorowa sanjegi Japo lashu yorowa?
네.
Didn't Japo gare sungsu.
다 절부 거래 절부께다 술메레리오나 틀은고는 되기레스.
Okay, so he said,
여러분,
sorry,
코란으로
the
유지로
Buddha
코란지
said,
나라와.
shall I dedicate the merit to you, or shall I dedicate the merit to somebody who has greater merit than you here today? And so he said, whoever you think you should make the dedications to the person who has accumulated the most merit, or who has the greatest merit. But the king thought, well, of course that's him. That's probably him.
So because he's sponsor, 이나 양한테네 다 디가라 용모지 요레스. 용모 맞아 소리 this beggar. 다 티네 뭐라 빼 제시랑 가르치기서 응원에 다네 다디 맨데베 여러분은 빼면서 소노 쳔보레스. 간디리스는 다 코라야 소노 쳔보 여러분 고요레스. 빼 소노 쳔. 그 여러보다 맞이 베게다 응원에 다네 덴데 케베 산제양 산지 지구만이 봐 산지 코로나 제반들이란 소와탐 서 때리 못 빼더니 매닝 치마 정도네 이다 모라라 칼라사 하고 와 티냠도 칼라라비 거리더니 보더니 매닝 치마 효는더니 뭐베 가서는 예수기랑 휴치고 와 티갈때 산지 그 몰라더니 데디케이션 치고레스.
So there was a beggar woman who was there, in the assembly, who witnessed the whole thing and also, received some of the offerings herself, was also given food. And she was so inspired by these generous acts of the king. She was so moved, and she was moved to tears. She actually, was crying with tears of rejoicing because she was so moved. And she thought, this is just incredible, it's such a glorious work of generosity, and such a great accumulation of merit, making these vast offerings to the Buddha, and not just the Buddha, but
king, right? So
he became king. What?
not only that, so then
So first he's a king, so not only that, but first he has so much merit that he's become a king. And not only that, then he's now making these grand offerings to the Buddha and all of his followers and the people here. And it's really just so extraordinary. And she was so inspired and moved. She really was deeply rejoicing in the merit of the king. And so the Buddha said, it is to this beggar woman that he would make the dedications, because she was the one who had accumulated the greatest merit.
대지 되다 디게 jarbo kitine konzo sanjilta nima dun tini ta choba pugu yosarawa dunra jela tini koda nima takpa jarbo kitine konda la tini ta dedication tini de mola chigi yores.
And so actually the king, this kind of festival or ceremony went on for 7 days, where the king was making these offerings, each day to the Buddha and his retinue and all of the people assembled. And so every day it was the same with the dedications that, these dedications were made each day.
Oda tindi yina yang ta nima jik last day thala tini lombo tizo ta tis kenza tsurgu yosarawa koranso ta ti karina ta di mola mangoya taki ji chi gosares ta ngone china jinda kora jarbore jinda la ngone ngowa chi gogre something nima jik tene lombo da konso ke rikpando ji tangi tene mola khala khan ti yomarwa mola khala khan ti yomare ina tene sa de jo yorwa sagan khala thori yorwa so chamala yang ta no ko sa ba chama so mola ti sa ju yomarwa.
Wait, got it? Got it? So each day he made these dedications to the beggar. So the dedications were made to the beggar woman because her heart was so pure every day in this rejoicing, except for one day, the last day, where, some of the ministers were like, okay, we got to do something to kind of like block this beggar woman, or the beggar, so they decided to like not give food to the beggars that day, because they felt like, it's the king who's the benefactor, so he needs to be properly recognized. So they didn't offer food that day to the beggars, but they threw some of the food on the ground. Right, got it?
No, even though, so this basically didn't give leftovers, whatever didn't give to beggars. And also not only that, so some, falling down in the ground, but beggar cannot pick up.
They didn't
so he
even
just
let
clean
the
up,
beggars
just
take the
quickly
food
clean
that
up.
fell off the ground.
So that day is, he didn't, rejoicing. So also I saying this, rejoicing how powerful, but so this last day they changed it. So then he didn't get what is dedication for her. So that is hukterwa. Sanje chancho vije song tela temba des ten lamje kenane dambe choto churwa ne je durjendi yimbi otati ni tela imbe chama kite ta chetan je su yiran ta tega na je durje kinyamlen chingen tela je su yiran chiala.
So essentially, it is this rejoicing here in all those who have entered the Buddha's teachings, all of the virtue of beings in general, and in particular, the virtue of those who have entered into the path of practice of Hevajra.
Tene sanje chancho bi ji song se chai de da ti chai de la he sam temba des lam je na ne thambam cho do chorwa ne pe che do je yin bi di rang ki ju la ten hin gombar cha bi gombar cha wa len zon tang sanje cho da so jin cho na la chancho ba da ne jab se da he so ti khen ki jam do che ba jian de je do je yam yum 상지 지 권초탕
Sanjay Changchu Yiki Zumshi.
da tile di di sa cosa io terwa da jedo je la singore sta de 상지 창조 위 송야데 간세 jedo je yamyom tela tene 상지 권초 chi gores tene jedo je ki chu tela da de terwa gin chu chi gores tene zaju ki mbom ala sobe chu 권초스 tene jedo je kol samotala gendut do hichi gores
Core.
na kotla kando.
So then, as it says, we in our minds we embrace Buddha's awakening, and in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha Supreme we take refuge until awakening is reached.
So this we're talking about what is the 5 branches, right? 5 branches.
So these are the 5, like the a kind of condensed version of the 7 branches, which are the 5 branches. Gompar Jawa Yinlak Sumpa Dang Yinlak Sumpa.
So here I think saying is this take refuge to the Jedorje. So Jedorje with the
Te o la Dangpo Sanjay Jangju Yikizong, but that's okay. So the line then when it says in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha Supreme, so the Buddha then is Hevajra, the Yapyum Hevajra, or that embodies the 3 jewels. Is that right, Jongju? Pardu? Oh, this is a little bit different. That's okay. So, and then the Dharma being the Dharma of Hevajra, like the Hevajra root tantras and the like other what do they call the Tsagyu Boom Ngapa? Boom Ngapa, the 500,000 root, but isn't there a name Tsagyu Boom Ngapa? So that's the Dharma, is the root tantras and the 500,000
yeah, this is the Dharma, the 100,000, 500,000
root tantras.
Yeah.
Okay, the 500,000 root tantras, and then the Sangha then being the entourage of Hevajra, like the retinue of Dakinis, is the Sangha.
Tene chanchop semsu jiji ba, da ki hendong rab chairs, da ki chanchop semchok ji bi molam ji sem ji bi yinla nga ba la, ima ho semchen gung ji, ima semchen gung dong ye, chanchop jonchok zi hin ki he ba song bi chanchop chok de sem ji ba ki yinla as. Ima song do semchen gung jin rong to nye, song do chanchop jonchok 심지엔 꾼지 그 통토라 되네 장첩 줘봐 제봐 들이 대라 장첩 존초 지힌기스 다 심지엔 탐지 그 통나 되네 다 책임이 좀 통다 되와
So then it says, so we take refuge until enlightenment is reached. We shall cultivate the mind of awakening so the goals of ourselves and others are achieved. One cultivates the mind of awakening in order to perfectly accomplish the purpose of others and oneself. Which is the aspiration bodhicitta. Endowed with the 5 branches. And then Emmaho, as our guests, we shall care for all beings. In having taken on the mind of awakening, then one engages in the supreme conduct of bodhisattvas, or one has the commitment to engage in the supreme conduct of bodhisattvas, welcoming all sentient beings, which is the application bodhicitta, endowed with the 6 branches.
Or is the 6th branch?
Oh, is the 6th branch, thank you. Yeah.
And on the page before it says 7 branches. Is that an error? Having made offerings to the God your Guru, one offers the 7 branches. Is that the previous
In which text?
page 14?
So, yeah, there is a version of this on page 15.
Oh, okay.
At the bottom of 14, it says,
Mm-hmm.
So that's 7 branches and then 5?
to clarify, Drupal was saying generally this.
There are 5 branches here.
Right, explained as like the 5 branches,
Page 40.
but then, in a way, in
Changla Kaka Yusare.
His Holiness's commentary, he's explaining how we can interpret this as 7 branches.
Well, it's 7 branches condensed into 5, but here it says 6, so. And the-
And then the 7th.
And then the 7th is following. Let's see, yeah. Oh, I see, okay.
Janeta ti hula terwa.
Okay.
Ah,
Dine Droa Pinchir Sanjay Sho, Che
Right.
Dumba.
ya ti telen dola penjer sanji sho zungba da. Ina yang da ti tsek de yang mo chukona kin ri ya tang ngone china konsho somno dak chap che se ya tela. Tene ko 5 branch ri ina yang da ti de ko ri lo ji ma jab 7 branch ri yab do. Tama tela kar suma tene te song do dola penjer sanji do ba sho ji duim ke. You know, so.
Yeah, so then the 7th is then for may we become Buddhas to help all beings, and so then this becomes the 7th branch of dedication.
다 대형나 대양 자주래 당보 참바 공바 당스다 단데라 세미 신사다 다 참바 공바 스네 당보 참바 공바 님바 닝제 공바 숨바 가와 공바 드네 꾸은지 괜찮네 당념 공바 오사 다 이게 되나요? 소 옆단을 열고
So then in the root tantra, so then we have also the meditation on the 4 immeasurables. So in the root tantra, it says, first one meditates on love, second one meditates on compassion, third one meditates on joy, and then finally equanimity.
다들 참배기 네바 헤라 볼라 치데스 드네 치데 셈제 경에서와 차오스 헤바양 세미 힌디 게 참배기 텐지 덴데토 밤 상바 첨보라 따던데라 네버차비 이렇게 남바히 타서서
Yeah, so then these are also known as the four Brahma Viharas, or the four Brahma abodes, so it is a means for resting the mind. So through this, there's the resting. It's a means for developing the meditative absorption, or for resting the mind. Rewa? Shiva, and so then through these four immeasurables, or these Brahma Viharas, all of the fruitions of, all worldly happiness is achieved. Rebe.
So, okay.
Okay.
So then semi he cordon is that semi he tondatilla. Tine Dugun Jobanji can zoom gonke Chamba Jetu Tona Jes, Chamba the Kanijesena. That love the
So then with regard to the meaning of the four immeasurables, so the way that Lord Jigten Sumgun says that we should generate love or cultivate immeasurable love is Dinda love song.
Chamba Jetu Tona Jes. That's not the tea, Chamba Jetu Tona Jes, Limba.
So like seeing someone you haven't seen, reuniting with an old friend,
No.
No, okay.
So Chamba Jaya at the Kandis, so this how is the kind of feeling?
Yeah, how is the feeling?
What is the love? Its best example is you can see like really young child.
Oh, seeing a young child, yeah.
So then what they're feeling?
Oh, for a young child.
Right.
Protection, love.
Protection, but we kind of feeling like. So interesting, right? So we can see here each other, so that's okay, hello, But we can see the baby, just kind of feeling. It's just really kind of move, okay? So kind of. So interesting, that Dharma is, the mainly is through the mind, How this kind of, the measurement, so how is or love or feeling. So basically, it's how mind is moved. So which is moved, you say, okay, I love you, but how much love, how much sincere. But, so we see the baby, kind of automatically he said, well, needs to love you, but. So that's kind of genuine love there. So that's the Lord Jigten Songkong. So Lord Jigten Songkong is a Tesongro, Jigten Songkong ke chu yegi yunare, then Jigten Songkong ke ta kandi imbina yang koronye, ni doju ne song xiaopi chu tang telana yiki nyamsu manyong waji, nyamnyong me waji tegas kanjo manju tsekla labge mes, samang nyamnyong thona labge yu songro.
So Lord Jigten Sumgun has said that when he teaches the Dharma, everything that he teaches is in accord with the sutras and tantras of the Buddha, but not only that, it is based on his direct experience. So he says that he doesn't teach anything that he doesn't have direct experience with himself.
Tajikina lela oyorwa chamba gom labore, chamba gom gore labore, chamba gom guyo labore. Chamba the where they start, this lela oyorwa. Lonjik na sumo jibu kitine, 다 딘리지 출바지 두와서 다 딘리지네 다 델라 딘데 로퍼리스 델라 다 잠바리스 다 잠바 델라 되네 고야야야야야 고 디벨롭 노치고리 중국에서와
And this is really incredible. Actually, these instructions, from Jigten Sungan are so profound because, where do we start, right? We generate love, but like if we don't have a really, such a evocative example like this that comes, from his direct experience, then it really gives a sense, what is the feeling of love? And then from that basis, then that love can develop further and further.
드네 닝게 간디게 그래서 닝긴 제원 통나지
And then compassion, the example that he gives for compassion is that we should have compassion is like the feeling of that one gets when they see somebody who's stricken with leprosy.
다 디가로 콜레버시스야 데 군나차 힘바다 기타 나차도 누보로와 이나다 샤당 빠빠당 또 참발 매와 칼레칼 차기요서로 배 항상 배 현황 서우 배다 데니도 오지어서 다 디가라다 고 sur바티 naturally 통사배 휴라더니 다지 군인견도 오지네 계기요서로 걸어 doesn't matter your friends or not friends not relatives or if relatives doesn't matter 고배 sur바로 다 통바트가랑 하더니 닝견도 오지 계기요서 간디치고 나서보다 계기요서로
And so, the leprosy is such a, it's an illness that anybody, where like the flesh gets all distorted and limbs fall, digits fall off and limbs fall off, and it's really, distressful to see somebody who is suffering from leprosy. And so there's naturally like a feeling of compassion that arrives, like whether you're friends with that person or not friends with that person or never seen that person before, just to see somebody suffering so overtly, with such really drastic visible signs of their suffering, naturally evokes a sense of compassion in anyone who sees that.
드니 가와냐당 티나 예속다 가와냐당 티나 예스 다테페 단다처럼 나와난 기로
Yeah, I got it.
타릉보 쇼직 베 유릉보 쇼직 티네 토메비나 드네 베 다직 티마지 두드티네 그 상마 베 응원에 탐내다 지 공가서 노는 거야 이제 나 가는 거야 지 여러와 그냥 그 가는 거야 그랬더니 지다 공고야 라마보도 대바지 있는 거야 요래 가는 거야 요래 노는 거는 요래 스케리 지는 거야 요다 거기 크라이 된다면도 that he 가는 때네 거야 요래스.
And then he describes joy as being like the feeling of reuniting with an old friend, like somebody that you haven't seen in a really long time, who you like deeply care for, and you see them again for the first time and you're so overjoyed, you cry with joy. So there are many reasons, different reasons why we cry. Sometimes we shed tears of faith. Sometimes we cry because we're sad or we're suffering. Sometimes we cry because we're scared. There are so many different reasons, why we cry, different types of crying. And sometimes we cry because we're so happy, so overjoyed. So this is like when somebody is so delighted and overjoyed with that feeling of reuniting with a dear friend.
드네 땅념니 이제 화나요.
And then equanimity is described as being like the sleep, like the state or the feeling that is like just as you're falling into sleep, like kind of that neutral state before you actually fall asleep, just as you're falling into sleep.
다들이 가르치는 것도 대용도와 땅념니 이제 화나요. 정도 다들이 제탕 가서도 니들라 고야들라 제탕한테 라고리 가서 Luke dissolution benangato chikpachagore ngato ta chik sa chula them chumela them melong la them suni ta tinde ji koteji jiung도 된 중화도 칼리 마 템고 요서로 니 고고요나 되니 이제 그로 요에 깔라테네 지 가르상고 땅뇽 로지 네데고다 매게 히라 통고요 말이 나위 히라 고요 말이 다 대가 나기 남도 통가로 고요 어 통가로 강다 지 수디데 로지 다니 코사는 양고지 나 톰톰로 차로로 텐디 많이 비키네 텐디 제라 텐네 땅뇽 제그레스.
So there's kind of a process of dissolution, or there is the process of dissolution that happens when we're falling asleep. So just like in the death process, when the elements dissolve. So earth dissolves into water, water dissolves into fire, fire dissolves into wind. And so little by little, these elements dissolve one into the other. And this happens in the sleep process too. And as that dissolution occurs, as we go through that dissolution, there's kind of a neutral space or state that one enters into. You're not seeing, like, the faculties aren't functioning in the same way anymore. You're not necessarily, you're not seeing things with the eyes. You're not, like, hearing things with the ears. But it's also, you're not completely asleep yet. Like, you've not fallen completely unconscious, but you're close.
Okay. So I think we stop here. There is sleeping.
다둥 두툼만 보이러와.
히라면.
Yeah, камера 집중.
이제 다 딜라 제렘 고주 그러와. I think we do. So if you do have some questions or comments, okay, if you not, then what's that?
대 장군은 버제 참 가두 쇼야요래.
I think he's going to 2025.
So we'll know when that happens next year?
Yeah. So I think he's going to his 80th birthday, maybe going to
80th birthday.
retreat, I think.
Thank you.
There is one question online.
Hmm?
During the empowerment and the teaching on blessing the nectar, Rinpoche spoke a little about the five wisdom beings, the true nature of the five afflictions. How can we as practitioners gain some experience, a taste of what the five wisdoms are like? How does this experience arise in one's practice?
강사 때 코란 하고 그러려고 그래.
레 간데 페나데
Five wisdom.
레데 예싱아게 냠뇽 간데라고도 나초 간데 하고 그래데 셈낭라 샤나.
다 베나차샤나 대송부도가 제타 다 초직디디 이행하데 고직반도 우리 이나 고르리리기 지렌도 같은데 요사로와
촉책 그래.
고 이행하다 또 초직디디 직반도 우리 시나 양고 양고 바자 브랜치나 티스티만다 만다데 요사레스.
So just to clarify, the question was, how do we know what the experience of the five wisdoms, or what is that like, and how do we recognize it, kind of? So he said that generally the five wisdoms are like the same in essence, but maybe they have like particular attributes that are like kind of specifically different from, or that different from one another.
벤도 샤샤위나 되네 다나가서 다 멜론이 히송으로도 다 멜론이 히송도 되네 직당 크루웨케 추운데다 담지 되네 바지 따히 지위나 되네 지 벤에 멜론나게 수냐 샤데원도 되네 지 통비나 다 멜론나게 수냐 샤르이나 지 벤은 가서다 멜론나 기나리 양면나 가서 멜라미나리와 드소로제이나 다 베나 지 melon ro ina ta nga so phagi melon je kinana pe ta jungo po ya po je yona yang ta te ko nga so hakuro ko parwa melon na ta be de tv na ro da karina je 통걸 지 parwa ta tele nga so ji chakpa dang simba yong ya mar ka so ko phagi melon na yo ro ko ngone marwa tiga na yi ko melam na la ya khena yona de ya melam na ka ko melam re la de ji kizi khena yona melam re zamna tene 다 요말 거 현어 조사로 와. 제가 나이 양 거지 비착피 윤도지 말람도지 비 가원도 전화 되네 지 말람리 잠나 되네 거다 동으로 마선 스탑 차다로 와. 지 텔레 양조 차게 제기 말이 현어 제기 말와. 피니 just understand 와 말람리 잠나 된 차로 와. 오 멜론랑 승리를 잠 차로 와. 티는 kur베기 추운데라. 베나다 담보 해당로 랑게 요나리 타도 랑게 요나리 고뇽 balance 게 되나 랑사비 예 대가랑라 되네 지 멜론랑 승리로 다 거라기 뭐로래 잠바오다 되는 도 좋나 에디다 베나 멜론 히다고 되네 직다 가서 이 시대 때 제비 다 다로지 차디여서레스 그런 그때 간디 제기를 그래
네, 된다나 냠용 간데다워래.
그래 더
Yeah. So like for instance with mirror-like wisdom, so it's kind of it's like how it sounds, right? Where really one sees that the phenomena of samsara, when you look deeply or you investigate and you realize or you see that it's really insubstantial, like just like like reflections in a mirror, or like another example is like dreams, like the phenomena that arises in a dream. So for example, like if there's like a really expensive, really special thing or object, but it's just a reflection in a mirror, there's no real like object there, you're not going to get attached to the object that's in the reflection of the mirror. You're something that appears on the TV, something that is like, it's just an image on a TV. It doesn't actually really exist. So it's the same, there isn't anything to be attached to when we realize the dreamlike nature of phenomena, or, to be afraid of. Like if we become afraid in a dream, and then we wake up from the dream and we know it was just a dream, so we know there's no need to be afraid, because it's no longer, we're no longer believing the dream. Or if there's something, attachment that arises in a dream, same thing. Once the dream is over, then there's nothing there. So when one has this experience, like where all the phenomena of samsara is experienced to be just as insubstantial as a reflection in a mirror. It clearly appears, but there's no true essence there, or like the illusory phenomena in a dream. Then, with all of the, any affliction that arises, anger, jealousy, and so forth, what it arises, but then we see its insubstantial nature, that there's not actually anything real there. And so therefore one is no longer, as a result of this mirror-like wisdom, one isn't bound or entrapped in the afflictions that arise.
제가 나이다 배는 냠니 이히 송도와 대인들 때문에 다 가서 남지는 냠니 이호 말에 지 상보 그 또파 냠베 그 또파 되네 지 가서는 지글 가베 그 또파 메가베 그 또파 어다 들어가나 이기 지 레와 지 토비아 그 레베 그 되네 다 남토 되네 지 토파지 용거리 zamnya 도보지 이러와 딘리게다 남토나 나소지 가서 샘기 주의 continuation 용되게 요래스 리디나야 다 가서 단다 이행하게 장되면 요나 되네 다 칼레지 이러와 상보이나리 년바이나리 딘리제 가서다 직전 탐을베게 로라다 지게리 디나야 지 야보직 섬노 땅베 까라 되네 조담지 냠바 첨부 정도지 그 상보대직배 상보대라랑 이토대와지 매와다 냠바대양 냠바랑 이토대와 매와 대양한테는 상연이 뭐 이열매와 냠바니 배가나이 당가서 대송도와 냠도가 용해라 되는 코르바이나 양한테네 군대 예매 송도 코르바인 베키테네 지금 코르바인 베키 독대와 텐데 매와 냥엘렌데와 임비 상대와 텐데 매와 코로니 냠니 쳔보 송도다 텐데 제게테네 가두이나 냠바 쳔보 냠니 기나네 테네 하코소나 테네 가서 냠니 이히스야다 하코원도 테네스.
Or, for instance, then there's like the example of the wisdom of equanimity. So, with the wisdom of equanimity, then there's kind of like the equality of experience that arises in that. When there are some thoughts ordinarily that, like, we have a lot of liking to, or something that we have concepts of, like, oh, this is pleasant and this is unpleasant, or thoughts of expectation and doubt, or hope and fear. And so normally we have all of this like continuation of proliferating conceptual thought or discursive thought in the mind that's all, either attachment or aversion, or good, or this is good and this is bad, this is positive and this is negative. And so in the untrained ordinary mind, that's just the continuity of experience. There's always, judging, this is good, I like this is bad, I don't like that. But when there's some taste of the great equality, then there's this understanding that there isn't any such thing as truly substantial or existent designations of good or bad, or positive or negative, that there isn't any real reality to those designations from their own side, that actually there's just the that there's the indivisibility of good and bad, or positive and negative, that when one has like reached a really high level of experience and realization, then one realizes the indivisibility of samsara and nirvana. So even, samsara isn't something that is negative, that has to be purified or gotten rid of. And samsara isn't something negative, and nirvana isn't, any better, something positive that is to be sought after. But one understands the non-duality of samsara and nirvana.
다 자와토비 이해지도 되네. 즉 이해팀이 또 되냐이나 되네. 베스 틱네스 제바틀레와 심평게 통치야. 단 제바요와. 제바틀레. 즉 심평게 통치야 automatically. 되네. 오직 자와 담지 되면 로봉 그레스.
So we don't have to, we don't have a ton of time to spend on it, but also then the discriminating wisdom is the mind that really kind of sees sees things in their multiplicity kind of clearly. So the true nature or dharmata and kind of the expression of phenomena, both and also as one essence, but also individually. Seeing also, clearly the kind of intricacy of karma, cause and effect, for instance. And so seeing things as they are in their essence, and also seeing things as they appear distinctly in their multiplicity. And then the all-accomplishing wisdom is when there is this understanding, or one sees how enlightened deeds or activity which accomplishes the benefit of beings arises automatically and spontaneously without effort.
Okay.
And then he said, and you already know the wisdom of the Dharma Dhatu.
I hope so. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now the dedication.
So then the dedication on page 24 of the purple. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings and samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the Drakagongpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
And so then tomorrow morning, we will again at 10 o'clock, we'll do Eric's translation of the Nairatmya, the short Nairatmya text that we did today.
Okay.
And there was a request that it be recorded, and so we will also record that.
We are tomorrow this one too. We fight with the families, but not today. We tomorrow, fight with the families.
So there's also this diagram here of the 5 Buddha families that he thought he would share too
It is
tomorrow.
We save, tomorrow. Not whole thing, not today.